Peace and blessings, my indigenous Aboriginal family of America, aka so-called African Americans. um, I'm gonna touch a little bases. I'm gonna jump around a little bit. You know, I haven't been up here in a while because been too busy doing rather than talking. As y'all know, y'all probably been seeing. I'm gonna be posting more of my smoke shop as it transform into what we want it to be. To start businesses, or I'm going step by step to show y'all how it is before once I have it gone together, then I will be giving y'all more, addressing you more on business matters. But in this meantime, I'm going to talk about reparations again. Let alone it should be considered restitution. I know I have been getting on a lot of immigrants on that, and a lot of people about our reparations. You know, I know we have to acknowledge that accepting the reparations as the ADOS. We know that it's a lie. We know that they're trying to get us to accept reparations up under those fashions so they can justify their purposes. So some of us have to be aware that, we really are due for restitution, because to identify totally with the ADOS is really kind of like identifying with theory, or identifying with the Darwin theory. Indeed, most definitely. And we have to find a way. We have to all work together in situations of saying, look, we don't want these reparations considered for all so-called African Americans in America, even though we're the indigenous. We have to have it be recognized as the indigenous Aboriginals of America in the same token, African Americans, which we have been falsely flagged as. So we have to basically say, don't turn our collar down on ours. Some of y'all, like I say, I see a lot of people is based up on this reparation thing for a check. I mean, so if your mind not right, the check's not going to benefit our community. Because a lot of things that people want, they just want to check. And they back again, handing their hand out, actually with their hand out, looking for a payoff or some help again. So we have to be able to relate this reparation thing into what you call a restitution. So I would be saying, restitution is for the indigenous. It's due to the indigenous, aka African Americans, or what they would consider ADOS. I mean, we have to be more compromising with it due to the fact that it has been put up under a false title, and as well as a false history. But it does open the doors for outsiders to be granted these this reparations, or what I would call restitution, because a lot of people that's considered Africans, we know that they come over here and they're considered white, so on and so forth, along with all the others. But we do have African so-called people that want to call themselves African Americans. We did have Africans, and not as many, but we did have Africans that participated in a lot of things dealing with America, leaving slavery and so on and so forth. So, I know I'm hardball on it, but the fact is that we do have Africans, people that can really justify the fact of being African, you know what I'm saying, that worked it with our brothers and sisters, indigenous brothers and sisters here, because they was both in the same boat dealing with the same issue. So they both had the same enemy. They both had the common cause. So it wasn't really no reason for so many what you would consider Africans that was brought here by the colonists to really try to call out for everything for Africans, or what you would consider African Americans, because when you look at all the moniker, the misnomers that have been put on a lot of our black inventors, a lot of our blacks, so-called what we call leaders, and so on and so forth, what I'm saying, these are titles that have been put on them that have been stripped them of their American culture, their American lineage. because Africa has been used as a scapegoat to throw other indigenous and aboriginal peoples up on that diaspora when they're not really from that diaspora, because Africa has always been a scapegoat for people of color no matter where you at. So a lot of people that's in different places, Britain and different things like that, Colombia, may have the skin tone of mine, maybe a copper color, and the aboriginal you from originally probably be from here because your descendants have been took over there, what I'm saying, as they will say that the African slave trade happened, but really it happened in reverse, as the brother Calloway said, and we looked it up. It's more than just what he say. You can find that out yourself and understand that those are the document records. So people need to stop trying to look at the messenger and focus on the message. It's a lot of brothers and sisters that I don't agree with, that I look at the message rather than them, whether their image is tainted because media working on them or they just being a straight fool. These fools can sit here and tell you the truth too, to take the message and run and then try to do better with it. But restitution is really our reparations. So we have to talk about restitution for the indigenous aboriginals. That's just my take on it. Now, we want to be clear about it, I'm saying. I mean, we can stand up we're supposed to stand up for the reparations because it really is talking about us, but it's up under the wrong title. It's up under the wrong foundation. So we have to talk about reparations, aka restitution. I'm going to just spit it myself. Y'all can do what y'all want to, restitution, aka reparations. You know what I'm saying? That's the entitlement that should be given to it. I see some people working hand in hand with it, because the reason why we say restitution is that, restitution is when you damage stuff. When I was in crimes and stuff at one time, restitution is when you damage another party, people's stuff, and then you finally get convicted for the case. The people are going to charge you for the damaging goods of these victims you made victim of. So you victim and then you tore their house up, whatever you do. So when you in prison and you get out, you have to pay restitution back for that. Along with, I heard, restitution for even being in prison now. So I look at it as restitution. You come into our house, you know what I'm saying? They pick genocide of us. They switched everything around. They killing our forests, our trees, our animals. They just destroying everything, damaging everything that we have accomplished in America and done. They damaged a lot of things in America, along with our family trees and our ancestors, so on and so forth. So we should look at this stuff up as a form of reparation. Thank you. Peace and blessings.